we're there. Yeah.
Where's my intro, David?
Don't know. It's just disappeared.
Coach, we don't get an intro. We have a 28-27 game win over Tullahoma, our second region title, and we don't get an intro.
I'm not even ready because my phone wasn't on silent,
right.
so I don't know.
Well, welcome in, everybody. It's the Jud Dryden Show right here on election night, November the 5th. Coach Dryden in with us. And, Coach, it's Tuesday. It's a good day for a coach's show.
Very good day, especially after that win Friday night.
Thrilling win, second straight region title, beat Tullahoma 28-27. Today's show is brought to you by SLC Firearms, 917 North Main Street, right here in Shelbyville, 931-684-5731. Hunting season, guys, starts Saturday. So if you need to get something for your muzzle loader or your rifle season coming up, they got a full selection of firearms, new and used, gunsmithing, gun cleaning. They accept transfers, and check out the website at slcfirearmsllc.com. Coach, another playoff atmosphere on the road. Great turnout. Yep. Tullahoma came, we came. Great atmosphere.
Would have loved to have had that gate at home.
It
was huge. It was I mean, from the moment we walked out to warm up to the very last whistle, it was an amazing atmosphere and a heck of a game to be part of.
Coach, game starts off in Tullahoma. I guess surprised us a little bit. Marvancy Johnson has that 43-yard touchdown run.
Gets up 7-0. I mean, he found the slot in there, and we'd misaligned to the formation, and they found where we were misaligned, and he was gone. He's a good little running back. I mean,
Tullahoma's well coached.
Yeah,
they put their kids in a good spot. Later in the first quarter, we get the run going. We get Robert going. We're getting Steven going. Steven gets a 3-yard touchdown at 7-7. We tied up.
Yep.
Pretty good drive right there.
It was well executed. Did look good on it, and it gave us back the momentum on the game, and it helped us out a ton.
Defensively, come back, get another big stop, second quarter. Again, we're moving the football, doing what we need to do. Nate Zimmerman, 1-yard touchdown. We go into the half up 14-7, feeling pretty good.
And then halftime, make a few adjustments, come out, repeat the process.
So we come out the second half. Robert Bailey gets going. 18-yard beautiful run, 21-7, we're up. He's our offensive player of the game. He had 22 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. We're going to play the clip, and just Robert's an outstanding young man. Here's Robert Bailey. All right, welcome back into the Jud Dryden Show. Shelbyville Lumber, Bedford County Sports, offensive player of the game. It's the main man, Robert Bailey. Robert, how's that ankle feeling, buddy?
About 95%, getting better every week.
Who's your mom and daddy?
Fletcher Bailey and Regina Lentz.
It's had to have been frustrating the last couple of weeks with your ankle not being where it was. But it didn't matter because we've got Zimmerman, we've got Steven, other kids picked it up. But isn't it nice to be a region champ?
Yes, sir, it is. That's why I got the belt on today.
What's the belt stand for, Robert?
Being alpha and being a champion.
All right, I had you down with 23 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. Been a while since you got over 100 yards, hasn't it?
Yes, sir, it has.
Did it feel pretty good?
Yes, sir, it did.
Tell me about getting back out there on defense, because if there's one thing I think you like doing as well as running the football, it's playing a little outside linebacker.
Yes, sir, all week. I mean, every week I've been begging to play defense, and they finally gave me a chance.
All right, we've got Hillsborough coming up, first round of the playoffs, coming up right here on Friday night. Y'all ready for it?
Yes, sir, we are.
Would it be interesting if Tullahoma gets Nolensville and somehow we get a rematch with them right here in 2 weeks?
I think it would. And they're going to try to come out and play harder and try to beat us.
I'd love to see it personally. Big week for you, big week for the team. Again, this is 2 years in a row as a region champ. How far is this from where you started when you got to Shelbyville? We were winning one game, now we're winning regions.
I think we came a long way. You know, we was 1-9 my freshman year, and we just had to put a lot of work into doing the squat rack and stuff like that. It took grit and dedication.
This is Robert Bailey, your offensive player of the week on the Jud Dryden Show, and we'll be right back. Coach, it's hard to believe the last time, or the only other time we had him on was week 1 when we ran for 300 yards.
A heck of a bookend, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's a season, it is.
From 1 to 10?
Yep. And he is such an amazing young man. He's every time he's in the weight room, every time he's on the track, every time he's doing a drill, he's right there 100% and going. He's coaching younger guys. He's bringing other guys along. I mean, he's turned into not
his
just a great
attitude
ball player,
and his football IQ. We say it every week. It's there.
It is, just like so many of them. But he has made himself into a fine young man, great in the classroom. He's turned into a leader. He's everything you want in a running back like that.
Every time we go in the locker room, he gives me and David the fist bump every time, consistently. He has over 1,300 yards now rushing, and he's missed basically played a half for half the season.
Right, and he was on limited reps when he dinged up that ankle a little bit. So the last 2 games he's been on limited reps, and so I mean 1,300 plus yards, and still I think 1,387 maybe.
I had him at 1342, but somewhere in there.
What,
18 total touchdowns.
Yep. I mean, he's a workhorse.
And can play defense.
Yeah, and can play defense.
And can play it really well.
Yes.
Outstanding young man, Robert Bailey. I mean, we're so fortunate to have him, and he's had such a great season, as have all these kids. But anyway, we're going to check out something else here in a second. But today's show is brought to you by SLC Firearms, 917 North Main Street, right in Shelbyville, 931-684-5731. Stop in and see Mike Matusik, Chris Cartwright, and the gang, and they'll hook you up with whatever you need for the outdoors or the shooting world. All right. Anytime in this game, what I found interesting was we had 2 100-yard rushers.
We did.
The quarterback, now, I don't know how the paper does it, and I saw they had like 20 carries, 125. I watched it twice. I charted it. Maybe I'm wrong. I had him with 18 carries, 151 yards.
I'd have to go back and actually look at the stats.
But irregardless, that's 2 players over 100 yards rushing, plus Zimmerman running the ball.
Right. He had, I want to say, he's just a little shy of 50, maybe.
I think so.
And then, of course, the 100 and whatever he had passing. So it was a good offense.
So we were over 300 yards of rushing.
We were. It was a solid offensive night for us. We just couldn't quite take advantage of, they big played us. I think they had 2 first downs. 2 earned first downs, which means we were giving up things on second down. I say that's not correct. They were third down conversions. They had 2 third down conversions on the night, and which means they were getting us big playing us on second down quite a bit. So we've got that's one of those things that have been a focus this week in practice to be able to make sure that's taken care of going into this week. So.
And to have 2 100-yard rushers and have over 300 yards rushing, your offensive line had to play pretty well.
They did. There were a few mistakes in there that got corrected, and we were able to sustain 2 big drives, actually 3 big drives,
right.
But the 2 biggest might have been coming out of the first half, and then that last drive going down at the end of the fourth quarter to consume all that clock. I mean, that was textbook right there. So. And
our lineman of the week this week from SLC Firearms and Mike Matusik's boy, it's going to be Ian Matusik. But I'm going to say this. There was one block Ian makes in this game where he just pancakes a guy. Yep. And it was good to see Ian do that.
Yes.
And he just pancaked the kid.
Yeah, he graded out the best he has all year Friday night in the biggest game of the year, which speaks very highly of his character and his grit and his ability to focus in on what's important. So he had a heck of a game.
Well, here's Tony Matusik's grandson, Ian Matusik. He's our lineman of the week. Welcome back into the Jud Dryden Show. It's the Shelbyville Lumber Bedford County Sports Live lineman of the week. Shelbyville Lumber and Matusik, they go together. Who's your mom and daddy?
Mike Matusik and Chris Matusik.
Tell me about your legendary grandfather.
Tony Matusik, who played college ball at Tennessee for a little bit, went to middle, and has also coached in more places than I know around the state of Tennessee.
And David Thomas tells me that your granddaddy's quite the celebrity down in assisted living. He's getting it done down there, coaching all the time.
All the time. Every time I go in there, something about football.
All right, here we go. We had the big game with Tullahoma, 28-27. It was a 1-point game. We had it 21-7 there for a minute. But did anything Tullahoma did surprise you?
No, we were actually expecting more when we were doing our prep for the week. We're sitting looking like guys. They run about 17, 18 different front packages with their D-line, with their linebackers. I'm like, all right, they're going to be rolling check fronts, even fronts. We're going to be rolling slides, all that stuff. And they sat in an even front for most of the night. They ran odd maybe 4 or 5 times, which I was kind of surprised of. I was expecting them to roll that a lot more. And linebackers, that was the main thing that changed. They would shift over based off alignment, but was kind of underwhelmed. I'm like, I was expecting more, and it was just easier mentally. Well,
the big thing I had down was Robert goes for 106, and then the paper said Stephen went for 125. I had him for 151, the way I charted it, but I don't know. But anyway, that's 2 players over 100 yards against a good Tullahoma team. That's a credit to the offensive line.
Yes, sir. That's credit to making sure we moved the first level. We were sitting watching for them. We were getting good push on their 2. Credit to the Tullahoma's interior D linemen. We were getting good movement of them, but they were making a battle the entire night.
What's Hillsborough coming in here Friday night? Big playoff game, first playoff game at home. What have you seen anything on film about them so far? Are they a pretty big football team?
Yes, and it's kind of all based off last year what we saw and just what we know of them. They are a very big athletic team. Last year example was that they had, I think, 5 guys play Division I ball, but we beat them 41-7. That's partly set to their attitude with each other. They're very play for themselves kind of group individuals, but against us it's polar opposite. Everyone's leaning on each other. We're going to rely on the guy to your left and to your right. We're going to get the job done.
We need a big crowd out here Friday night. The playoffs, I think, started 2 weeks ago, but they start officially on Friday night. We need a crowd.
And it's funny you say that because that's been what we've been told since Lincoln County. Guys, this is playoff week for us, so we got to win this one. Then to tell home, it's like, guys, playoff week, we got to win this one. We got both those wins, region title, back-to-back, and now we're going true first-round playoffs, win or go home. If it's anything like last year, we're going to have moms up in the stands with drums and cowbells screaming their hearts out.
From where you started when you came as a senior to Central High School and where you've ended up as a 2-time region champ, it's got to feel pretty good. Feels
great. Freshman year, didn't see a whole lot. I was just trying to be a student of the craft and learn as much as I could from all those who were around me. Anytime we'd be in games, I'd be going stand up behind the offensive line table, trying to learn knowledge. Then had a good offseason, and I earned my spot as a sophomore, and I've just been working, trying to fight for that and keep that, and hone my craft from that year on to now. And it's back-to-back region titles, 9-1 in the regular season both times. Feels pretty nice. Absolutely. Get out and support the Golden Eagles against Hillsborough right here at Shelbyville Central High School at 7 o'clock on Friday night. We'll be right back on the Jud Dryden Show. Ian Matusik, another fine young man.
Absolutely.
Senior,
yep.
Leadership.
Yep.
Doesn't mind coaching up the kids around him. Mm-hmm. We had 2 sophomore, I think, tackles this year? Mm-hmm. And we had a couple of seniors that helped him along the way.
Yeah, he has done a phenomenal job from a leadership aspect, from an ownership aspect, from his work ethic. I mean, everything about that young man is exactly what we want in our program.
He can talk.
He can. I
mean,
he can.
And he will.
He'll a future politician.
Right.
I mean, there you go. I mean, but especially on election night, right?
Sure.
I mean, who knows? We could be talking about.
He may do this show better than you and I do.
He
probably does.
Much better than me.
Absolutely. Me too.
He is everything that we want people to see in our program, and I mean, in everything about him and in every way. He is a warrior through and through, and he has a heart that is that is huge for his teammates, and I mean, you just can't speak highly enough of him.
All right, now, in this game, we're up 21-7. That's where we stopped it at. Johnson comes back and has another 9-yard touchdown run. They move the football. And we've got another Bobo we're going to talk about, and it's Stephen and Williams' cousin Alex. Great catch.
On a phenomenal catch.
21-21, we're tied.
Yep. And we have we got to make plays.
Got to make a place.
And lo and behold, we did. So and then we give up. Then they have that. I'm trying to remember. I believe it was Kenai that had that catch at the back of the end zone, double coverage, perfect ball,
right?
Well
Great
covered.
Throw.
I mean, it was one of those you wish it was on your side, not on theirs, but it was. I mean, it was what it was. And then the maybe one of the top defensive plays of the night was the right upright. So that banged off that, and we're able to take the ball down and consume every bit of clock within I think they had 45 seconds, kind of a weird call on the field goal to go up by, would have put us up by 4 at that point. But we've gone back multiple times to try to figure out who was off the line, who it was.
I didn't see it.
We couldn't find it.
Still haven't found it.
But I mean, in those situations, I mean, it's
But we had the Johnson TD and the missed PAT. So, but before that, LeBron Ransom, Stephen Bobo made it 28-21. Let's not forget that
on a 4th and 5.
On a 4th and 5, a 35-yard touchdown pass, huge play in the game.
It was just one of those deals where we knew we felt like 4th and 5, good shot. We had multiple calls we could have made, and Coach Hunsaker dials up the right one, and actually LeBron gets held on it as he's taking off on the double move, and Steven just lays out a perfect ball. I mean, it was a heck of a night.
Let's do our defensive player real quick. It's Brody Lavorne, and you just can't say enough about this kid. He's everywhere. Here's Brody Lavorne. The Shelbyville Lumber Bedford County Sports Live Defensive Player of the Week is a familiar face. It's linebacker Brody Lavorne. Brody, how'd that feel over against Tullahoma?
It felt great. I mean, back-to-back region champs. It was a good feeling.
Who's your mom and daddy?
Rocky and Amanda Lavorne.
Tell me about the hammer.
Well, on defense, you want to give the hit. You don't want to take the hit.
And we give plenty of hits, don't we?
Yes, sir, we do.
This week, we had a little trouble with our running back. He had 19 carries, 145 yards. Did he surprise y'all at all?
I knew Marvinci was pretty good, but I don't think he really did anything to me up front, but he did surprise me a little bit.
It was a big ball game, great atmosphere the last 2 weeks, Lincoln County, Tullahoma. It doesn't get any bigger than that, does it?
No, sir, it don't.
All right, coming into this week, we've got a home playoff game against Hillsboro, and we played them last year, so we know what to expect there, but we're ready for it.
Yes, sir, I think we are. They know what happened last year, 41-7, so I think the same thing's going to happen this year.
Well, one thing that's interesting, if Tullahoma beats Nolensville, and I kind of think they're going to, we might see that Tullahoma team right here in 2 weeks.
And I think if that does happen, I think we're going to beat them even worse this time just because home field advantage. We're going to come in with a different mentality because I think we came in that week just kind of that big win off Lincoln, and we was kind of, it's just Tullahoma. But I think now that we know kind of what they are, we're going to come in and we're going to beat them even worse.
All right, big game up here on Friday night. This is Brody Lavorne, and he's all over the place on defense, and I would expect the same type defensive game plan this week. Pressure, and more pressure.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is Brody Lavorne. He's your defensive player. We'll be right back on the Jud Dryden Show. If he's not an all-region linebacker, what is?
I know he's had a heck of a year.
Great year.
He's close, near 2, if not 100 tackles on the year, multiple plays, pick 6.
Yeah.
He's got all the
Another near pick 6 where he goes down to a knee. Would have had 2 of them.
Yep, and that's he's had a heck of a year. So as a senior,
A really good ball player. Now 28-27, like you said, Tullahoma scores Johnson to Johnson. They missed the extra point, but now we go down the field here.
Yep.
And went right down, and I think, Coach, we had it 1st and goal at the 2.
we did. Yep,
Up 1 with a minute 43.
Yep.
They've got 1 timeout.
they do, and penalty misplay. We call that we if we had it back, we'd probably try something else, but and then it put us in a situation where we're 3rd and long, and then that creates its own issues, and then we nail a field goal with a roughing the kicker,
Right.
which should have put us back in 1st down territory and everything to seal the game. But we had somewhere along the line of scrimmage, the officiating crew felt like we didn't have enough guys on the line.
I've looked at it numerous times. I didn't see it.
It is what it is. I mean, those guys.
What's the number you have to have up there? 7?
You have to have a full 7 on the line of scrimmage.
And we had more than that.
Well, I mean, yes, we should have. But
I looked at it over and over.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So it's been addressed this week. We've made a slight tweak to how we actually process our alignment, so to speak.
Yeah.
The process we go through to be aligned, so that'll be taken care of. And I will say this for the officiating crew. They were, I don't care what anybody says about them, that crew's mentality, character, and heart are in the right place. They're there for kids.
Absolutely.
They called that game the same both ways, and more importantly, they called it the same in the 1st and 2nd half. They didn't change at halftime.
Right.
It didn't, so what we got used to in the 1st half is what we came out to in the 2nd half, and that to me is the most critical thing. I mean, if you want to be a little loose on holding calls, be a little loose. Just do it both ways and 1st and 2nd half. Don't decide in the 2nd half we got to tighten this down or change something. And they were consistent from 1st quarter to 4th quarter. And so it's a good crew. We've had them multiple times this year and last year. And I mean, I would take them anytime, to be honest.
Coach, was there any thought looking back on it? Because woulda, coulda, shoulda is always something.
Sure.
That we just run it up the middle 4 times and run that clock out.
And you know something, like I said, going back, looking at it, yes, we would have.
Because I think we could have scored, would have scored. Even if we don't, you're pinned back 98, 99 yards.
1st and 2nd downs, we definitely would have going back at it. We would have been between the tackles anyway, off tackle. But, it's within the game flow. You make the best calls you can based on the information personnel you have on the field, and that's where we sat on it.
All right, so everything happens. We kick it again. We miss it, but we've already hit it once.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Bobo makes a play.
He does. And
talk about that play.
Great athlete. What really set that play up was pressure and a tip ball.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly what set it up. And so it was Stephen makes a great play to finish it at the end, but it was two great plays, two great efforts ahead of that set it up for him. So it was between the pressure in the quarterback's face, the tip ball coming around.
Who tipped that? You remember?
I believe it was Brody.
I thought it was too.
I could be wrong on that. I have not watched the film since Saturday to go back, and that's not one of the things I was looking at. But I mean, everything about that, we were set up ready defensively for that series coming in. Knowing that if we got in a situation, coaching staff wise, prep wise, we knew it could be a tight game, and that if they happen to have the ball at the end, it's all of a sudden we're in 2-minute defense instead of them, and so it was. We were able to make a play when we had to. And that's been happening for us all year.
2 region titles in a row.
It is at the end of the night.
Don't get any better than this, does it?
At the end of the night, 2 region titles. So,
all right. Next is Hillsboro. We played them last year. Hillsboro is very athletic.
Very.
They've got players.
They do.
We may have beat them 41-7 last year, but they've got players. If they get stuff going, this could be a dogfight.
That was last year.
Yes, sir. And this is this year.
We have 2 totally different teams. We're different. They're different. We feel like our matchups are good across the board. But at the end of the day, anytime you have an athlete, they can make a play. And if you put a couple plays together, now all of a sudden momentum's on your side, and now it's a dogfight. And so we've got to be able to come out fast, strong, score quick, hold them, gain and keep momentum, and then we'll be fine for the night.
And to quote Jud Dryden, that ball is not round.
It is not round.
It is not round. No. You don't know how it's going to go, do you?
So you don't, and you never know how it's going to bounce. You just have to be prepared for whichever direction it goes.
Hillsboro, typically, I wouldn't think travel's great. That's why I think it's even more important to get Eagle Nation out,
absolutely,
and have a packed house.
Yep, and I feel like we'll have a great crowd.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, it's the
playoff football.
Weather is supposed to be solid for us that night. I think it's supposed to rain a little bit during the day, but possibly clear out that night. So I think we'll be set up well.
Hit the region real quick. Columbia's at Page.
Yep,
Page pretty tough.
They're tough. So.
Hillsboro, Shelbyville, Tullahoma, Nolensville. Now that one strikes me as that could be a really good football game.
It very well could be. I don't know. They're two different tops teams,
right?
Nolensville loves their I'll call it kind of a dink and dunk, quick game passing offense. They play solid on defense and all that. Tullahoma's gonna come in and play, have a multiple defense and all that on them. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Centennial, Lincoln County.
I think Lincoln County makes the second round.
I think they do too.
So I really do. I think they'll lean on Centennial.
Centennial's not as good as they were a year ago. I don't think.
Not at all. And still well coached, still solid football team. But I think Lincoln County, if they stay within themselves, and going down there to play is
the Dobbs kid is good.
Yeah, and going to Lincoln County, going to Fayetteville, going into that stadium and having to play in a playoff atmosphere. I don't think Centennial has been around that yet. Not that way. And so that's going to be a big deal.
It would be kind of interesting if Tullahoma were to beat Nolensville. We're fortunate enough to win to have that rematch here.
Yeah,
I think that would be nice.
It would be,
and it would be a tremendous gate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you want to talk about a true playoff atmosphere. It's going to be 100%. I mean, I can imagine both sides of the stands are packed.
Oh, I can too. And you're standing around a fence like we were back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge for sure. So,
Coach, good win and congratulations on your second straight region title.
It's been fun.
From 1 and 10, we've really moved up, haven't we?
We've come a little ways,
Come a great ways. Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations to you kids. Get out and support the Golden Eagles. We're playing Hillsboro playoff.